Hey, this is Terri Savelle, your cheerleader of dreams. I'm so excited you're here today because we're talking about one of my favorite topics ever, success habits. Listen, you don't accidentally succeed. You don't accidentally achieve big dreams. Nobody ever wakes up one day and says, how in the world did I build a six-figure business or lose 30 pounds or launch that ministry? No, you know this, but we succeed on purpose. So today we're going to dive into 7 success traits I've seen in every high achiever, every world changer, and every dream chaser. And guess what? You've got these traits too. You may just need to turn them up a little bit. So your free download this week, it is the 7 traits of the greats in a checklist, but I also added a bonus trait. So click the link in the description and get this free download right now. Okay, I want to kick off this with a fun story about a young girl from Compton, California, who was waking up at 5 o'clock every morning before the sun to hit tennis balls on cracked public courts with her dad. That girl was Serena Williams. Now, here's what I want you to know about her that's just wild. She didn't have the best facilities. She didn't have a private coach or an elite tennis academy. What she did have was a dream, a routine, and a relentless belief that she was born for greatness. Serena went on to win 23 Grand Slam titles, become a global icon, and dominate a sport where nobody thought she belonged. And it wasn't just because she was talented. It was because she had these traits of the greats. So that's what I want to share with you today, because you may or not be training for Wimbledon, but you are training for your calling. You're building your dream, your business, your book, your breakthrough. And if you adopt these 7 traits, you're gonna rise like the greats do. Okay, so let's learn the 7 traits of the greats, and I've got a little story for each one that I think you're gonna love. Okay, so trait number 1 is clarity of vision. The greats don't wander. They are laser focused. They see it before they see it. Now let me tell you a true story about a guy who worked at a video store. He had nothing, barely getting by, but he was obsessed with a dream, and his dream was to drive a Porsche. So every single day on his break, he would read Entrepreneur Magazine and Auto Trader, and he would circle pictures of Porsches over and over. His boss even said, you really shouldn't do that to yourself. He said, it's never gonna happen. But he didn't listen. He gave himself permission to dream and to get crystal clear on that dream. Fast forward a few years, he pulled up to that same video store in his brand new Porsche 911 turbo convertible. Same dream, same car, only now it was real. And those same coworkers and that same old boss was still working inside, still making around $7 an hour, he said. Get crystal clear on your dream. I always say dream it, pen it, live it, right? Okay, trait number 2 is unshakable discipline. Willpower fades, but discipline builds your dream even when you don't feel like it. So if you want to know what unshakable discipline looks like, let me tell you about Mark Wahlberg. You know, most people know him as the successful actor, producer, maybe even from his fitness brand or the Halo app. But what most people don't see is his insane level of discipline that got him there. Mark Wahlberg wakes up, are you ready for this? At 2:30 a.m. Not for a movie shoot, not for an emergency, that's just his daily routine. By 3:40, he's already in the gym. He schedules prayer time, family time, workouts, work meetings. Every hour of his day is accounted for. Why? Because Mark says, discipline has given me everything I have. You know, he came from a rough background, drugs, gangs, even prison. But discipline is what turned his life completely around. He didn't wish his way to the top, he worked his way there. One 2:30 a.m. wake-up call at a time. Mark Wahlberg even says, when I started prioritizing discipline, everything else in my life got better. My health, my family, my finances, my faith. So the takeaway, discipline isn't punishment. It's the bridge between your dream and your destiny. So let me ask you, what's one thing that you could start doing every day that would just move you towards your dream? Even if it's not 2:30 a.m., give your dream 30 minutes. Because here's what I know, discipline will take you where motivation can't. So set one small, non-negotiable habit, because greatness grows in the routine. Okay, trait number 3, bold faith. You know, great people expect favor. They speak faith even when it looks impossible. In fact, let me tell you a story about a woman who had bold, relentless, God-given faith when everyone else was saying no. Her name is Jamie Kern Lima, and she is the founder of It Cosmetics. And y'all, her story is so full of bold faith. I get goosebumps every time I share it. But Jamie struggled with rosacea, and she couldn't find a makeup product that truly worked for her type of skin. So what did she do? She decided to create one. Now keep in mind, she had no beauty background, no big financial backing, and no connections, just a dream and some serious faith. She started in her living room with her husband, just shipping boxes from their apartment floor. And I'm telling you, she poured everything into that company, even went broke twice. For 3 years, investors rejected her, one after another. In fact, people said to her, "People will not buy makeup from someone who looks like you on TV." But she had a vision, a calling, a conviction that God had put that dream in her heart. Then came the moment of bold faith. She got one shot to go on QVC. And I mean, it was a make it or break it moment. If it didn't work, they were done. But here's the kicker. Everyone told her to use a traditional model for the live demo. But Jamie said, no, we're gonna use real women with real skin. That's bold faith, isn't it? Risky. But guess what? They sold out in under 10 minutes. That one bold move turned into a $1.2 billion business. She later sold It Cosmetics to L'Oreal and became the first female CEO in their history. So here's the takeaway. Jamie said, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. So bold faith doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. It moves when your spirit says go. So let me ask you, what's your QVC moment? That scary leap of faith that might just change everything. You don't need everyone's permission. You just need bold faith that God is with you. Okay, trait number 4 is resilience after failure. The greats don't avoid failure, they use it, they embrace it. If you've ever felt overlooked, rejected, or like you just don't belong, this next story is gonna just, I like to say it like this, light a fire in you. So let's talk about Hilary Swank, the 2-time Academy Award-winning actress. Before the red carpets, before the standing ovations, she was just a girl living in a car with her mother, chasing a dream that just looked impossible. Hilary grew up in a trailer park and was raised by a single mom. But when she decided to pursue acting, her mom packed up their stuff and moved to LA with almost no money, and they literally lived in their car. She was rejected from auditions over and over and over. One casting agent even told her, "You're not the kind of person we want to represent. You're too trailer park." Can you imagine how easy it would have been for her to just quit right there and say, maybe they're right, maybe this dream just isn't for me. But no, she got back up and she kept showing up. She kept auditioning, even when doors were slammed in her face. Then years later, she landed a role in a low-budget film called Boys Don't Cry. She was only paid $3,000, but guess what? That role won her an Oscar. Then she did it again with $1 Million Baby. So here's the takeaway. Resilience means refusing to let rejection be your final chapter. Hilary said, "I have heard no more times than I can count, but every no brought me closer to the right yes." So let me encourage you, don't give up because of a closed door. Resilience is what separates the dreamers who wish from the achievers who win. So don't let rejection define you, let it refine you, right? Trait number 5, surrounded by dreamers. This is one of the traits of the greats. They are surrounded by dreamers. You know, the Bible says it like this, iron sharpens iron. So the greats don't hang out with small minds. In fact, I want to take you back in time to one of the greatest dream circles in history. Now, this was a group of men who literally shaped the modern world because they believed in the power of iron sharpening iron. So I'm talking about Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, and even Warren Harding, who became the future president. These weren't just successful businessmen. They were visionaries who made it a habit to get around each other on purpose. Now, I don't know why they call themselves the vagabonds, maybe because they would go on road trips together to dream, to brainstorm, and to just push each other to go higher. But they would sit around campfires just talking about the future, electricity and cars and tires and business, inventions. They didn't just share goals, they shared faith in what could be. Thomas Edison, the king of invention, Henry Ford, who revolutionized the auto industry, Harvey Firestone, who founded Firestone Tires. Do you think it's a coincidence that these men all rose to the top together? They knew this truth, that you go further when you grow together. So the takeaway is, you weren't meant to chase your dream in isolation. You need a dream circle. People who get your calling, who speak life over your goals, and who challenge you to just start thinking bigger. So let me ask you, who's sitting around your campfire? Who do you need to just sort of invite in? Or who do you need to maybe take a step back from? Because here's the truth. When you surround yourself with visionaries, you become one. Hey dreamer, I just want to take a quick pause and say a heartfelt thank you for tuning in today. It's such a joy to share this space with you, especially with people who are passionate about chasing their God-given dreams. And I truly hope you're loving this episode as much as I loved creating it for you. But before we dive back in, can I ask you something real quick? Did you know that a surprising number of people who watch this podcast aren't actually subscribed? Crazy, right? That means you might not be a subscriber either. And if this episode is blessing you, would you just take a second to hit the subscribe button? It helps us spread more encouragement, more purpose-driven content, and reach even more dreamers like you. So speaking of purpose-driven content, I've got something special just for you. I'm hosting a free Live Your Dreams virtual event created specifically for dreamers who are ready to stop wondering and start doing. I know firsthand what it feels like to have a dream burning in your heart, but no clue where to begin. That's why I'm making this virtual event 100% free, because I want as many people as possible to get the clarity and the confidence they need to take bold steps forward. So this isn't just another event, this is a breakthrough moment. You'll walk away knowing the exact next steps to start turning your dream into reality. So if you're ready to stop just dreaming and start living those dreams, hit the link below and save your spot now. All right, let's get back into today's message, and always remember this: your dreams are possible and they are so worth fighting for. Trait number 6 is generosity. See, greatness isn't about getting, it's about giving. Now, I had to include this story about, I would say, the queen of kindness and rhinestones, Dolly Parton. Yes, she's a music legend with over 3,000 songs, a Hollywood star, even her own theme park. But what makes Dolly truly great isn't just her talent, it's her heart. In fact, let me tell you something that might surprise you. Dolly Parton launched something called the Imagination Library, and it's a program that mails a free book every month to kids from birth to age 5. Did you know this? And it started in her home state of Tennessee because she said, if you can read, you can do anything. That little idea, she has now given away over 200 million books around the world. But she didn't do it for attention. In fact, she said, I just wanted to do my part. So here's the takeaway. Dolly shows us that generosity is greatness. And when you live to give, you unlock joy and favor and a level of success that money can't buy. In fact, she once said, you never go broke by giving. So let me just ask you, where can you be generous today? With your time, your words, a small act of kindness, because the most successful people aren't just building wealth, they're building legacy. Okay, trait number 7 is relentless growth. The greats never arrive, they keep growing. In fact, let me tell you a story about someone who has never stopped growing no matter how much success he's had. His name is Matthew McConaughey. Yes, Mr. All Right. Now, you might know him as an Academy Award-winning actor, a movie star, even a college professor. But behind the scenes, he is someone who is obsessed with personal growth. So even after winning an Oscar, he didn't stop and say, I've made it. No, he said, I'm still figuring it out. He journals daily, from what I've been told, to just reflect and to learn. He reads constantly, books on philosophy, success, purpose, and faith. He even took 14 days in the desert alone just to think and to pray and to grow spiritually before he wrote his best-selling book, Green Lights. But Matthew McConaughey said, "When I look back, the moments I grew the most were not when things were easy. They were when things were hard and I leaned into the hard stuff. And I asked, what can I learn from this?" So here's my takeaway. Greatness is never a finish line, it's a lifestyle. So relentless growth means you stay teachable, humble, and hungry, no matter how far you've come. So let me ask you, what are you doing this week to grow? Are you reading? Are you listening to other podcasts? I know you're watching this one. Are you taking notes in church? Because the dream you're praying for is waiting on the person you're becoming. And I want to say thank you for watching this video. You're proving that you already have the traits of the greats. In fact, I want to ask you to subscribe if you would do a favor for me real quick. So there you go. Those are the 7 traits of the greats. And like I said at the beginning, I put all of these in your free download with one more bonus trait that I think you're going to like. So just click the link in the description of this video to get this list and just pick one. Practice it and watch how your life starts to change. I believe in you and I'm cheering you on to live your dreams.